Welcome back, everybody. This is Tucker. Let's talk weather. I'm giving you an early look at our next major storm and severe weather threat. We'll talk about where and when the risk is highest and what you should be ready for. And our next big pattern shift is on the way too. I'll make sure you're ready for some huge temperature swings. And welcome back in, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a nice weekend. Here in Boston, we had a ton of wind. I was on air covering some damage. It was actually a pretty big deal. And as we wrap up the weekend, you can see right here, we do have some severe weather ongoing in the southeastern U.S. If any of you guys are there, let me know what you're seeing. And just in general, let me know what you're watching from in the comments. Tell me what kind of weather you're seeing. I love weather, and I love talking about it too. So, love to chat with you guys. And if you want a free forecast, drop it in the comments also. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. But enough banter for now. We have a significant storm that's going to impact the entire U.S. March 13th through March 16th. And to break down this storm, we're going to start with the upper level winds, about 15,000 feet up. We're taking a look at the jet stream. Now, where the jet stream is stronger, you have the higher potential for more impactful weather. And actually, if we take a look down in the southeastern U.S. where there is that low severe threat right now, you're seeing those brighter red colors indicating a more active jet stream. But the main focus is on the 13th. And if we move this forward even further, we're now looking at Tuesday and Wednesday. And as we get into your Thursday, we have this branch of the jet stream coming on shore out west here. And where you're seeing the jet become a little more spread out, you have greater lift in the atmosphere, leading to the chance for storms, rain, and even some snow too. But watch as we go through that week. This is the 13th. Now we're moving into the 14th. You're seeing those yellow colors show up. That's a sign of a very strong jet. You're also seeing it make this U shape, and that means two things here. When you get that U shape, you get colder air to dive in through the atmosphere, destabilizing it, and you have the wind energy, where you're seeing those brighter red and yellow colors that just inject more power into storms and developing weather systems. So here's where we are on the 14th. This is where we may have and are likely to have our greatest severe weather threat. This is really looking like a decently potent setup. And we're going to dive into more of the details here. But our threat continues. As we move farther to the east, you're seeing this jet on the 15th and 16th eventually reach the east coast. Still very strong out here and still will have the potential to produce impactful weather even as we get into the end of the 16th and beginning of the 17th. I want to talk about this severe weather with you guys first though, and what we're looking at is our jet once more. I'm circling the area where you have the greatest wind energy here on March 14th. This is going to cross over well with where we have instability too. And it's going to be this zone right around here where they are crossed over that you have the highest threat for severe weather. That takes us to states like Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi as well. We still may see some severe weather to the south, although the threat may be a little bit lower because the wind energy is displaced farther north. Now here's our storm system bringing that severe weather threat. This is likely being modeled as a little bit stronger than it will turn out to be, but it gives you an idea of what we're tracking here. And what you're seeing is, first of all, a lot of snow on the backside of this. We'll get into that here in a moment. But we're going to have some storms developing likely in lines. There could be a couple rounds of severe weather here on the front side of the system. And you are seeing, again, most of that activity is going to stay in the Midwest area, less so the south. Although the storms you're seeing out here are unlikely to be severe because there won't be enough instability. It's what fires off in this portion of our storm system that is going to be most interesting. And this severe threat is likely to carry, as you can see, a little bit farther east here on the 15th. We'll certainly need to watch it as it's likely to impact much of the Mid-South. And there is a chance it could reach the East Coast as well, but questions come into play about how much instability we have. So I do expect portions of the East Coast will face a severe threat on the 16th. And the question will just be to what degree. I'll mention also, this is a tornado, a wind, and even large hail threat. Everything's in play here, though tornadoes and wind will certainly be the greatest concerns. Now, if you think the severe storms are all there is to this, you have something else coming. Wanted to mention, by the way, if you're not already subscribed, be sure to do so because we'll be tracking the storm very closely. And of course, I'm always trying to build community, and I'd love to have you join. But let's keep talking about the storm because severe weather is just a small piece of everything it's going to bring. Let's start with the 12th, moving into the 13th. You can see heavy rain and snow already beginning in the West Coast. And what you're going to see is, especially through the 13th, right here, you have all that rain hitting the coastline and becoming snow in the mountains. In fact, the 13th is going to be a very snowy day across the mountains. and across much of the western U.S. here. So it's going to impact a very broad area. As we move into the 14th, we talked about that severe weather threat. You can see it right here. But moving into the 15th, like I said, we're going to be looking at heavy snow across the north central U.S. I'll take a look at amounts in a minute. But we also have this line of at least heavy rain, if not more severe weather on the 15th and 16th moving east, and a ton of wind that's going to go with it. Here we are on the 16th, and even though I'm not expecting severe weather in the northeastern U.S., looks like there will be a round of some very heavy rain out there as this system continues to move on and could even continue into the early hours of the 17th too. As we take a look at precip amounts, you're going to see out west those numbers, those colors showing up big time. And what we're going to see at the end of the 13th and 14th is widespread precip across the western U.S. You're seeing anywhere there's those red colors, 2 to 4 inches of rain. Anywhere you're seeing those gold colors, that's 4 to 8 inches of rain or snow. Total precip is what we're talking here. And you can see just how impactful it will be out west. But you want to watch the eastern end of the U.S. as well as we take a look further through the 15th and 16th. And while some of that rain in the southeastern U.S. will be rain from this weekend, most of what you're seeing, at least north of the southeast here, is going to be a good 1 to 2 inches, even more in some spots, of additional precip. But what about snowfall? Well, we can break that down too right here. And again, we'll move it forward. You can see the western U.S. picking up a lot of snow through the 14th. Anywhere you're seeing those maroon colors, that's at least a foot. Where you're seeing these orange colors, that may be closer to 3+ feet. And you can see how heavy it's going to be out there in those mountains, Sierra Nevada's included. The Rockies going to see a widespread foot of snow in some of those summits, but you'll want to watch the north central U.S. here as well. Now here is where I'm expecting us to see a more significant snowstorm, and what you're getting a look at is what may be a widespread 6+ inches here. The numbers you're seeing are very conservative. This will impact places like North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and states farther south. Could brush Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin as well, and we're going to have impacts that will be at least pretty significant while this snow is falling. There is the potential for blizzard conditions. I do not want to lock that in yet, but there is the potential depending on how strong the storm system gets. So looking at the 14th and 15th, for sure, we will be talking about a winter storm threat in addition to the severe weather threat out here, and we'll keep a close eye on that as well. Now, just in case you're curious too, out east, I'm not expecting there to be much snow at all, so you don't really need to worry about it. It does kind of look like spring out here. And with that, we'll talk about the pattern change because that may glean some insight as to why snow is less likely, and we'll talk about some really big temperature changes that you might not see coming. So here's a look at the air masses in play this week. We're going to take a look at the actual temperatures in just a moment too. But you can see just how mild it's going to be as we open up this week. This is Monday the 10th across the north central U.S. As we move this forward into the middle of the week, looking at Wednesday now into Thursday and now at Friday as well, you can see just how mild it appears to be across pretty much the entire eastern United States. Certainly going to feel like an early spring in many of these spots. But as our severe storm system comes in, you're going to see cold air get injected as well. And this is where things change a lot. That mild air gets wiped out, at least in the central U.S., and it will likely just manage to hold on out east. But as soon as it goes away, notice we have some replenishing of that mild air. And while the west will not quite catch back up, I do expect it to be cold as we head into days like the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. The eastern U.S. is looking at what appears to be an early spring, and I really do not expect much more snow out there as a result. And as we take a look at your actual temperatures, first a quick peek at us ending the weekend here with temps in the 60s across most of the U.S. That's going to feel really nice. Monday, you're going to see it is very mild once again. The central U.S., those red and orange colors indicating temps in the 60s and 70s. Here we are on Tuesday, highs across a good chunk of the country, warm again. Wednesday, we see it begin to spread more, and by Thursday, we're looking at 70s that may be taking over a good chunk of the south and eastern U.S., more than just the southeast, but that's a very wide area of the country. Remember though, our storm system comes into play here, and as it does, you're going to see it wipe out some of that warmth, at least out in the central and western U.S. And as we head into the following weekend, the 16th, we're looking at, it's not necessarily going to be cold, but it will be chilly in the north central U.S., where there will be some more snow on the ground. And the west certainly won't be as warm either. But the southern U.S., the south central, southeastern U.S., the east coast, will continue to hold on to that spring-like warmth going forward, and we'll keep on tracking this as we get later into March. All right, we're going to end our video right there, but I want to make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Ask any questions you have if you haven't already either. It is going to be an active week of weather, as you can tell, and we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on all the threats coming our way. So be sure to check back for updates, and I'll see you here next time.